kind of object of expenditure there is. The programs are all coded so that we can identify rather than comparing two programs that we're not sure are similar, no? So this will help you to also generate analytics, for example, sa performance. Later on sa budget accountability, yung pagpapublish ng mga financial accountability reports, these should also have the same codes. So it will not be also difficult for you to ask during the hearings, ano ba yung utilization, ano ba yung disbursement ng bawat programs. If we have these kinds of transparency servers, I think si Ken will show an example of how we were able to scrape data and turn that into a transparency server. So these are very practicable, and I think this should be the goal that we are striving for.
Example, si Ken mamaya.
Yes.
Okay, sige. We'll talk about that because I want to visualize rin itong transparency server. Kasi ang next step will be, kami naman dito sa Senate will upload what we call the Senate version. No, so these are the amendments on the GAB.
Yes.
No? Together with all the annexes. Mas marami lang kaming annex this time dahil we required the DPWH to publish the technical descriptions. No? So, pero admittedly, naka-PDF siya. So, hindi siya enough na PDF lang. Dapat Excel format siya. Is that tama ba yun? I'm
Yes.
not a IT guy, no? But kino-coach lang ako ng mga analyst din namin kung paano gawin mang madali. So, in your opinion, mas madaling pag Excel format
Yes,
siya.
sir. Yes, sir.
Oo.
Better if Excel format po siya.
And then, it contains yung mga, di ba sa NEP meron ng Prexy code?
Yes, may Prexy and UAX code po sa NEP
Oo.
and sa GAA.
Correct. So, kasama na rin yan doon sa Excel.
Yes, it should be part of it.
Okay. And then, dito sa recommendation number 1 in 256 na pork and patronage, where do you suggest we can allocate this? Itong 256, I would assume pumunta to largely to yung mga paboritong programs, no, like MAIP, AIX, TUPAD, what else? Ito pala. No, meron yatang DLIP.
It's the AIX from DSWD,
Oo.
TUPAD of DOLE, and MAIFIP of DOH, and then yung tulong dunong program ng CHED po.
Tama. Ito pa lang wala dito. Tulong-dulong.
Yes, 2 billion po sa tulong dunong.
So, where do you suggest to move itong 256 na patronage no programs? Ano ang suggestion nyo? I get your point.
Yes.
Na itong mga programs nito are to a certain extent or to a larger extent actually promotes mendicancy, diba? So I get your point in that. So what's a sustainable program? Kasi ang tinitingnan ko is also sustainability, meaning hindi siya susceptible to the whims of Congress kung dadagdagan, babawasan. For example, in my opinion, the 4Ps is a good program, no, because it's sustainable in a sense that it looks at, for example, the number of poor families, the outcomes, diba? Kung pumapasok yung bata, healthy yung mother. So sustainable siya in that sense because it's pegged to a outcome. Or certain outcome. So, in your opinion, itong 256, anong magandang paggamitan yan?
Yes, thank you, Senator Win, for pointing this out. We agree. I think the reason that these programs are susceptible to being treated like pork is that to a large extent, the legislators have an exercise over how these are implemented. And as we said, no matter how well-meaning a lawmaker is, we understand that the lawmakers want to help the healthcare, the education. These programs are designed in such a way that they foster a system of patron-client relationships, mga guarantee letters. So, nakadetermine siya based on sino yung kakilala na senator or congressman rather than a guarantee to the right to health and the right to education and the right to financial assistance. So what we are asking for is that we transform these programs and we think about them that in a way that they should be rights-based and rules-based. So tama po yung sinabi ninyo, Senator Win. The 4Ps is a very good example of a rights-based and rules-based program. Nakadefine po yung 4Ps kung sino po yung qualified to benefit from this, kung sino yung beneficiaries. Yung mga listahan po na ganito, this will also prevent yung mga ghost beneficiaries, no? This will prevent, for example, programs that go to people who are not necessarily qualified At the same time, this will prevent the exclusion of people who are qualified, who should be qualified. For the healthcare system, we really should strengthen our universal healthcare law. Yung PhilHealth po, we understand that there have been problems in the PhilHealth, but this is the rules-based and rights-based program. It doesn't require you to beg na magmalimos sa isang lawmaker to get access to this. Fully funded, fully financed ang healthcare po dapat ng mga mamamayan. Ganun din sa education sector, instead of asking for scholarships, there should be funds already enough in the agencies that guaranteed po ang rights natin for these, no? So we're not saying to scrap health assistance, we're not saying to scrap employment assistance. What we're saying po is we have to remove the tendency, the system, the incentives for lawmakers to use these to foster dependent patron-client relationships, and instead imagine a rules-based, rights-based system of providing these services to the people.
I agree with you. To be honest, it pains me to see that some people, ang constituents natin, nagla-line up ng matagal sa mga offices ng politiko. And ang nangyari kasi yung politiko nagiging parang Diyos siya kung sino bibigyan o hindi bibigyan at magkano bibigay, no? So we're giving the power of life and death to the hands of the politician, no? Which is not the right thing to do, no? Kasi dapat the system helps our constituents, no? May mga bagong innovation ang Department of Health, nakita namin. Like for example, yung zero balance billing, merong 28 billion more or less, no? For zero balance billing. And then we restored yung PhilHealth subsidy. Magkano ba PhilHealth? 60 something, no?
53 po, plus 60 sa gap.
So mga 50 to 60 billion. And then for me kasi the zero balance billing assures our constituents, pag pumunta sila sa DOH, wala silang babayaran. Ang problema natin yung capacity, no? Kasi overcapacity tayo ng 200% across the board. So yan ang isang dapat i-solve, no? Kasi merong libre ng hospital, wala ka namang kama or wala ka namang space, no? So that's another issue we have to resolve. So tingin nga namin yung because of the zero balance billing saka yung MOE ng mga hospital, yung PhilHealth parang nagiging bonus na lang, no? So pag nabigyan ka ng yung hospital ng PhilHealth, bonus na lang siya, no? Kasi yung reimbursement, 'di ba? May reimbursement ang PhilHealth about 30 to 40% of your hospital expense, no? So bonus siya. And then yung MAIP actually is double bonus. Kung nabigyan ng yung hospital ng MAIP, parang double bonus yun to cover its OPEX, yung operating expenses niya. So in other words, my point of the matter there, yung punto ko doon, yung zero balance billing that was enlarged, no, pinalaki this time, ensures that rights-based approach, no. So personally nga nakikita ko parang hindi na kailangan ng ganong kalaki ang MAIP, kasi MAIP lagay mo na lang sa zero balance billing, di ba? Or yung MAIP lagay mo na lang sa increasing capacity, di ba? Para pagpunta ng tao doon, meron siyang hospital bed, may kwarto siya. So that's the concept we're trying to think. Is that in line ba with your rights-based and rules-based approach?
Yes, definitely, sir. That's in line with the approach.
Yeah, sige. And the same with I guess the same with 4Ps, no? Instead of yung mga poorest of the poor families natin, instead of lining up for AIX, mabigyan na lang ng 4Ps, no? So how about yung ano pang ibang mga rights-based and rules-based programs that you think government should intensify instead of yung patronage projects, no? Kasi meron naman ng gobyerno rights-based, rules-based, di ba? Hindi lang, in fact nakikita ko doble nga . May rights-based, may rights-based, rules-based, meron ring patronage. No, nagiging doble siya no? May nakita ko sa budget, largely nagkakaroon ng duplication. And I think because of the reason why may duplication because may mga operational inefficiencies, mabagal ang PhilHealth mag-reimburse, ang MAE pabagal rin mag-reimburse. So yung hospital wala siyang pang operating expense, papasok naman doon yung zero balance billing kasi MOE yun eh. So may mga inefficiencies but in a perfect world na mabilis lahat, anong tingin mo kailangan i-intensify nating programa na rights-based, rules-based? Or kung wala, ano ba yung dapat meron tayong programa na rights-based, rules-based?
So I think we're not saying again to scrap these programs. No, we're not saying, for example, the 4Ps is different from the IX in that the IX is for emergency situations. So it's very different with how you're going to implement and plan that. But I think one realization also, and probably you've experienced this, Senator Win, nakwenta niyo nga po ang daming pumipila, but the office of a senator or the office of a congressman is not properly staffed or resourced to disburse all of this. Parang ang hirap i-identify niya. And the temptation for many is to just disperse it based on mga political considerations rather than the needs of the people. So what we really are reimagining is that that incentive should be taken away. Tanggalin yung temptation na yun na gamitin siya as a patronage tool at planuhin siya ng maayos. Ilagay siya sa mga agencies, make sure that transparent yung targeting mechanisms, make sure na rules-based siya. If you're going to have an emergency financial assistance, make sure na may clear qualifications for this, may clear assessment of this, and then pwede namang through the agencies binibigay yung pondo na ito rather than parking it in some of the distribution through the legislators po. So just remove that part of it, and then yung programs themselves, they can still function well as long as they are properly and clearly defined.
Meron ka man na-identify na program na we should intensify na rules-based, like for example, ako tawag ko doon sa in ZBB, zero balance billings, rights-based yun kasi pagpunta mo sa hospital. But meron ka bang mga ganun na programs you see na we can intensify? Because once pag rina-allocate mo yung 256, dapat may puntahan siya di ba? So do you have any suggestion on where to top of mind?
Yes, I think the other in the NEP, but nagpapakita siya bigla sa GAA.
Yeah.
So instead of that, maybe strengthen halimbawa yung tertiary education subsidy.
TTS,
Yung
yes.
TES po, no? So, yung ganong klaseng system na hindi na kailangan dumaan sa mga legislators. So, I think the other CSOs might have something to contribute.
Okay, sige. We actually plan to increase yung TES, 4Ps TES by 6 billion this year. So, para nakita namin kasi yung mga 4Ps na nag-graduate, they need extra help if they go to college, no? Pangbili ng uniforme, books, projects. So we estimated or gave us a figure of about 6 billion for 400,000 4-piece legible college students, no? So meron siyang may continuum siya. Meron siyang pagtapos ng senior high school, pwede siya mag-college kung pumasa ng entrance exam, of course, di ba? So yun, I would call that a rights-based because that's right to education. No? So that's one of the items that we are improving. So yeah, we'll ask for suggestions from our CSO later on. In zero balance billing, I stand corrected 50 under the NEP, no? Under the NEP pala is 53. It's in nasa ano ito MOE. Nakakalat to sa MOE. So that's about 53 billion. Kala ko 20 something. All right. So I have some more questions, AJ, para marinig natin lahat, no? Actually, maganda yung conversation natin. We'll call on People's Budget Coalition, represented by Mr. Kenneth Abante.
Magandang umaga po, Mr. Chair, Senator Win, and colleagues in the civil society. May we ask for our presentation to be flashed? Our our presentation is entitled People Empowerment in the Budget Process. Ako si Ken, convener ng People's Budget Coalition, na siya yung bahagi ng PH Budget Watch Roundtable for Inclusive Development. Kami po ay grupo ng higit sa 40 civil society organizations na sumusulong para sa isang transparent, participatory at accountable budget process. Unang-una gusto ko namin magpasalamat sa Natubin sa pakikinig sa aming mga panawagan na gawing resource persons ang civil society at hindi lamang salin pusa o token observers sa proseso. Magandang simula po ito ng engagement sa Senado. Next slide please. Ayan po yung iba sa mga miyembro namin. Dumami po kami. Start po kami noong 2021 during the pandemic. Next slide please. Tama po si AJ, kumakalat ang cancer ng katipuan sa ating buong katawan. Meron lamang po kaming isang mensahe ngayong araw. Ngayon pong alam natin nakalat na ang cancer sa ating buong katawan, kailangan po natin gawin ang lahat ng ating makakaya upang alisin ito, yun ng damot, mag-chemo kung kinakailangan.
Pero kailangan po nating palakasin yung ating resistensya. Ang ating immune system na magiging alert mechanism para maaga pa lang ay maagapan natin ang mga tumor na tumutubo sa ating ibang bahagi ng ating katawan. Sa kasawiang palad po, Mr. Chair, ngayon po nawalan kami ng tiwala sa ating budget, procurement, justice at political system. Nandito po kami nanggagaling. Next slide, please. Lampas isang taon na ho nang sinalanta kami sa Bicol ng severe tropical storm Christine. Hindi po masyadong kita sa news pero mas malala pa po sa Ondoy ang ulan. Kinailangan naming mag-rescue, relief at medical operations dahil libo-libong pamilya ang 2 linggong stranded sa kanilang mga bubong dahil sa baha. Meron po kaming buntis na kinailangang i-rescue. Ang salbabida niya, refrigerator na lumulutang. Yung tatay ko pong may cancer, na-delay ang check-up dahil nabasat, nasira ang mga makina sa ospital. May isang single mom kami nakausap kahapon na kinailangang lumangoy at ilagay sa balde at itali ang kanyang sanggol nang humihiyaw, akala ko katapusan na namin. Walang natira sa kanilang mga ari-arian. May mga grupo na kinailangan mag-GCash drive para sa kanilang mga sirang classroom at learning kit dahil naubos ang MOE sa kanilang paaralan dahil patapos na po yung taon nun. May mga gurong pinatuloy sa sarili nilang bahay ang kanilang mga estudyante dahil inahod ang lahat ng kanilang mga tirahan. May mga magulang na namatayan ng musmos na anak at naaalala ko pa rin ang kanilang mga hiyaw. Kaya po, Mr. Chair, Senator Win, nawawalan po kami ng tiwala sa ating budget system. Napakasakit pong marinig mula kay Secretary Babe Singson na kaya naman palang pondohan ang major river basin master plans ng Pilipinas sa halagang 700 to 800 billion pesos kung hindi nilustay nitong nakaraang dekada ang malaking bahagi ng 1.7 trillion pesos na halaga ng flood control budgets. Nagtusa po ba ng ganito kalala ang mga kababayan natin kung hindi dahil dito? At sa DPWH at sa ating Pangulo, kailangan po nating malaman kung ano ang estado ng lampas 600 bilyong pisong proyekto na wala pa sa sumbong sa Pangulo website. Narito po kami, dala-dala yung aming ang aming sakit, ang aming galit, pero nandito po kami para makipagtulungan dahil ayaw na po namin itong mangyari ulit. Marami pong pwedeng gawin upang mapabuti ang proseso ng pagbabudget. Iisa-isahin po namin yung stages ng budget process mula preparation, legislation, execution at accountability, kung ano yung mga naabusong proseso dito at kung paano siya mapapabuti. Unang-una po, sa budget preparation stage, ngayon po, kailangan ng tunay na science-based at multisectoral representation sa pagbuo ng budget sa DPWH at sa ibang mga ahensya at sa technical budget hearings ng DBM bago pa po isumite ng Pangulo ang National Expenditure Program sa Congress. Imaginein po natin, what if meron pong sistema, a platform, na kung saan pwede nating ma-check kung yung project ba na pinopropose ngayon ng DPWH ay nalagay na sa mga dating budget. Ito po ay half-ghost project. Meron po bang binakbak na kalsada para lang mapunan ng budget? Pareho lang naman pala yung binabudgetan na langsangan. Posible po siyang mangyari sa Open Budget Transparency Server. Alam din po natin na malakas din mag-evolve ang tumor at ang cancer. Alam po namin na dahil mas bukas na ang BICAM, meron na ngayong sistema ng allocable shares or internal pork within the DPWH itself. No, hindi na dinadaan sa Kongreso kundi sa mismong DPWH. Kaya mahalaga po na magkaroon ng sistemang ganito para before ma-propose ng ating Pangulo sa Kongreso ay mag-agree na po tayo na ito talaga yung mga pangangailangan. Pangatlo po, kailangan i-update ang DPWH Road and Bridge Design and Price Manuals para po ma-reflect yung tinatawag nating nature-based solution or integrated water resource management plans. The problem po with the current DPWH designs is that they are mostly cement-based or gray infrastructure-based according to the disaster specialists that we've talked to after Christine when we were evaluating kung saan po kami nagkulang. Winawiden po ang mga roads, pinuputol yung mga puno, kaya nagkakaroon ng mas mahirap na pag-absorb ng tubig sa ating mga syudad. Yun po yung iba sa mga budget preparation reforms na kailangan po natin. Dito po sa budget legislation stage, yung pinakamahalagang reforma po ay itigil yung abusive practice ng secret insertions, lalo na sa BICAM. Dapat may mas maayos na debate at deliberasyon. Inaral po namin ang DPWH budget over the past 20 years at nasabi nga po ni AJ from 2018 to 2025 na kung saan comparable ang accounting, around 540 billion pesos yung net insertions sa DPWH. Pero, importante pong tuunan ng pansin ang pagtaas ng convergence at special support programs. Ano po ang convergence at special support programs? Ito ay mga agreements between two different agencies. For example, DPWH at Department of Tourism para makabuild ng tourism roads, with the Department of Transportation para makapunta sa mga seaport at airport, among others. Meron pong 828 billion pesos worth of insertion sa convergence at special support programs. Kaya sinabi po namin na tip of the iceberg pa lamang po ang flood control. Kailangang alam ng taong bayan kung magkano at sino ang nag-insert ng budget. Gusto po namin i-commend ang Senado sa pagpasa ng concurrent resolution that opens up this process. Kaya lamang po, mahalaga po na magkaroon ng open budget transparency server where media and civil society can easily report the insertions. At ito po yung sinasabi namin ni AJ kanina, we are ready with a pilot. Meron po kaming katrabaho ng mga civic technology volunteers na galit sa korupsyon. At dahil po angry nerds sila, ginawa po nila kaagad yung trabaho. Sa sunod pong slide, makikita po natin yung platform na ito. Halimbawa, tingnan nyo po, sa Department of Education, nandyan yung NEP, nandyan yung GAB, pero transparent kung paano siya nag-evolve. Kapag clinic nyo po yan, may kita nyo bawat isang line item under the Department of Education budget. So yan po yung example. Pwede nyo po siyang mabisita sa budget.bettergov.ph. Yung pangalawa po namin ginawa ay nakipagtrabaho po kami sa Philippine Government Electronic Procurement System at Procurement Service DBM para po buksan ang lahat ng awarded contracts ng PhilJeps magmula year 2000 kung saan ito tinatag. Ngayon po, sa PhilJeps website, meron ng 5 million contracts worth 15 trillion pesos that can aid in fact-finding for the Independent Commission, the Senate, and the House. In fact, when we raised the question kung nasaan na po yung 600 plus billion na hindi accounted for sa Sumbong sa Pangulo website, nakita po namin yung other possible contracts in the PhilJeps website. Gusto sabihin, we can work with a bigger list. So you can look and go to that site at philjeps.bettergov.ph. Other features of this budget transparency server, again, all volunteer-driven, open source, anyone can build on top of this, transparent yung code. Next slide. Ito po yung procurement dashboard na official website ng PhilJeps. Next slide. Ito po yung example ng per region, kung nasaan yung regional budget distribution at kung paano siya nag-evolve. Next slide. Ito po yung very interesting na ginagawa ng isa naming mga volunteer. No? Tinatry po naming i-relate yung Sumbong sa Pangulo website, sa Project Dime ng DBM, sa PhilJeps website, sa mga iba pang mga researchers na nagpo-post ng kanilang geospatial analysis ng lahat ng flood control projects. At ito po yung gagamitin naming baseng mapa sa ilulunsad po ng simbahan na citizen monitoring effort ng lahat ng flood control projects na nilaunch noong Friday. At handa po kami makipagtulungan para i-share yung aming findings. Next slide, please. Meron din po kaming budget tracker that is a Google Sheet kung natatakot po kayo sa website at code. At meron din po kaming isang user-friendly map. Pwede po bang bumalik tayo doon sa key reforms in each process? Doon po sa slide 6. Thank you. And most importantly po, we should not forget that in the legislation process, the ultimate counterbalance or the ultimate check and balance to the legislature is the threat of a veto from the president. We need the president to commit to veto insertions that are not part of the science and nature-based plans. Next po sa execution. Nasabi ko na po na binubuo na po ng aming 2,500 volunteers ang Open Budget Transparency Server na ito at siyang gagamitin naming mapa para ma-empower ang lahat ng civil society movements who can build on top of this map. Meron din pong mahalagang reforma na sana po ay makatulong kayo, Senator Win. Kung sana po ay matulungan nyo kami sa DPWH na ilabas yung lahat ng project monitoring reports na mahalaga para sa citizen monitors. Ano po yung example nito? Mga programs of work, mga detailed unit price analysis, no? Yung mga contractor data. Kasi po, yung aming mga investigative journalists na kaibigan, tulad ni na Casey Valmonte at Dwight De Leon ng Rappler, sa kanilang investigasyon kay Congressman Zaldico, kinailangan nilang magbayad ng 30,000 pesos para lamang makuha sa Securities and Exchange Commission ang audited financial statements, general information sheets, at articles of incorporation na siyang hudyat ng kung may conflict of interest ba yung mga contractor na ito sa pagbid sa mga proyekto. Mahalaga rin po na buksan ang Statement of Assets, Liabilities, and Net Worth. Ang tawag po sa Freedom of Information Best Practice na ito ay proactive disclosure. Hindi na po dapat natin hinihintay na ilabas ng ombudsman or heads of all the agencies ang SALN. Dapat po ay ito ay proactively disclosed dahil napakahalaga ng SALN sa kaalaman ng bawat isang mamamayan ng kung sino ba sa ating mga politiko ang may conflict of interest. Kailangan pong i-accelerate yung beneficial ownership registry that is required under the new Government Procurement Act. Ano po ang beneficial ownership? Ito lamang ang nagsasabi ng kung sino nga po ba talaga ang may-ari ng kumpanya. Kailangan din pong buksan ang ayuda beneficiary lists tulad ng AKAP, MAIFIP, AIX, TUPAD at Tulong Dunong. No matter what fee the Securities and Exchange Commission charges and the government earns from these systems, they will dwarf in comparison to the amount of savings that government will save by making this free and open. It will be billions, hundreds of billions of pesos. And finally po, accountability. We need to empower the Independent Commission with powers of contempt, subpoena, and fiscal autonomy. We support the joint statement of the employers and workers to create a special division in the Sandigan Bayan for corruption cases. We recommend that the judiciary publish online the case tracker of corruption cases dahil napag-alaman po namin sa kay Representative Chel Jokno na meron pa pong mga kaso sa Sandigan Bayan na 40 years old na po. Kailangan din nating i-recover yung ating stolen assets. Dapat maibalik ang nakaw na pera. At yung COA ay mag-conduct ng special audits of flood control and port. Yung foundation po ng open budget movement na ito ay tunay na freedom of information. Free and proactive disclosure of these documents that will allow ordinary citizens to check with the people in power whether we've used the money we gave government through our taxes correctly. SALNs and SOSES should detect conflict of interests. There should be anti-political dynasty reforms and party list reforms because our party list system has also been corrupted by contractors. This has to stop. Kung naaalala niyo po, Mr. Chair, yung kwento kong single mom na kinailangan lumangoy kasama yung kanyang musmos na anak. Kinailangan itali. Sabi niya po, yung kanyang buong pamilya ay lahat nasa Australia na. Pero sabi niya, patuloy pa rin akong maglilingkod sa Pilipinas dahil naniniwala ako na may pag-asa pa ang bayan na ito. Mr. Chair, yun din po yung pag-asa na meron kami. At kahit na ramdam po namin yung aming sakit at aming galit, kami po ay may kipagtulungan sa Senado para hindi na po ito maulit-ulit. Thank you.
Thank you, Kenneth.